Kenny Dalglish without a win in the Premiership now for 6 games. And in come Rob Lee, the skipper, Warren Barton, Tino Asprilla and John Barnes. 4 players coming in, 4 going out from the team which lost at Derby. That's Ian Rush, John Dahl Thomason, Des Hamilton and Steve Howie. Fewer problems for Liverpool and Roy Evans. 3 wins on the bounce. They're unchanged. Newcastle first. With 4 Liverpool All Boys at St James's Park. Manager Kenny Dalglish won 17 trophies. Evans has yet to win here as a manager. David James in goal with the USA international Brad Friedel now keeping the pressure up on the bench. James has kept 7 clean sheets in his last 11 games. Skipper Paul Ince returned after injury and suspension on Boxing Day. Liverpool have won 8 of their last 11 matches overall and their last 3 in the Premiership. And their strikers are in a rich vein of form. Michael Owen has scored 7 in 8 games. Robbie Fowler has 11 this season. Those are the players then on the pitch.
So we go back to November '93 when the entertainers had desire to go with their big ambitions.
Holds in the centre. Will it reach him? It does! It does indeed! Cole wants it from Sellers. It's in! It's 2! Lee. That's a lovely play again. Is Cole in? He is. There's no flag. The hat-trick is his.
A year on and Newcastle had a 100% record after 6 games when Liverpool went to St James's.
Robert Lee is the runner. Sellers in the centre. Lee! Oh! A quite glorious goal from Robert Lee.
On to November '95, and there were plenty of smiles at the start.
Beresford can supply the cross. Rob Lee's in the centre. Comes here for Keith Gillespie. And it's in! Flying in was Ferdinand. Shot at goal here from McManaman, and Rush has scored 1-1. Lee. It's a great try, the goalkeeper's lost it! Newcastle have scored through Steve Watson!
Almost exactly a year ago now, and the goal scorers were on top on the Monday Night Football.
Brilliant header! It's Shearer! That's a good ball from McManaman.
That's 4 years. Let's get up to St James's Park. Let's get to St James's Park. Andy Graham, Martin Tyler.
That's the motorway we've been driving up to get here. But the fact is, Andy, now, supposing that is a final score, that here with Liverpool, tomorrow with Chelsea, there are matches coming up live now that mean so much to the chasing teams.
I think you're right. I think the teams like Blackburn and Arsenal who didn't know Martin, what was happening. I think we can now confirm that they have lost at Coventry. It is 3-2 to the Sky Blues. No doubt Liverpool players will know that. We know Chelsea players will know that tomorrow. That is an absolutely massive lift to 2 of Manchester United's biggest challengers. And what they've got to do now, Martin, you feel for certain, to give them the confidence in their own ability is both teams win their games. That's Liverpool to win today and Chelsea to win at Southampton. I think they both have to do that to convince themselves they can catch Manchester United.
Well, Newcastle will have their own say, of course, and let's have a look at the team that Kenny Dalglish is putting out at a hectic time. They are able to add a touch of freshness with Rob Lee and Warren Barton for naming this unchanged side. Paul Ince, a particular concern after his first game back from suspension and injury. A certain amount of banter here for Brad Friedel when he arrived at the ground. Newcastle, one of the clubs who couldn't get a work permit for Liverpool's new American goalkeeper.
Well, pretty quickly, Martin, it's a 4 at the back, flat back 4 that they've now gone back to, but in midfield they've got Redknapp and Ince who will try and pull the strings. McManaman and Leonardson will swap either side. Don't be surprised to see them flying at either end of the pitch. McManaman left, Leonardson right, and vice versa. The main concern when you play this team is, can you cope and can you contain the 2 front men?
Well, the news has just been announced to the crowd here, and I'm sure the players know that Manchester United have lost at Coventry. Now, this is Newcastle's final fixture of a highly eventful year. Kevin Keegan's departure, of course, Sir John Hall too, Alan Shearer sidelined for much of the time. Yet Kenny Dalglish drove them to second place in a first Champions League campaign. But now they have to get out of a rut of poor results. And it won't have escaped their attention Darren Huckabee's part in Coventry's success today, a former Newcastle player, and another Paul Kitson, I think, was on target for West Ham. They need a goal scorer. They made chances here against Manchester United, Andy.
Yes, they did. They kept it tight at the back. I think that's what pleased Kenny Dalglish more than anything. He said there wasn't much between the sides. I would have to agree with that. But what Manchester United did have, for all to see, I think, were greater options in the attacking third. The third where you need that bit of quality, you need that bit of class to get you a goal in a tight game. And it might be the case again today. I think defensively they'll come up and they'll stand up and they'll be counted. The question mark I will have is, can they open up Liverpool's defence? Can they score a goal? But the one thing I think Liverpool are vulnerable, Mark, in their set pieces and things like that. They don't seem to me to be great at corners, at free kicks around the box. That'll be an interesting little tactic to see if Newcastle devoted any time on the training ground to that.
So, belatedly, here come Liverpool. They were league leaders at the start of 1997. They couldn't fulfill that promise. But today they come looking for a fourth straight win to fuel their optimism for 98. And if they win today, they would be 9 points behind Manchester United with a game in hand. Well, Newcastle not only confronting famous rivals today, but taking on their own critics. There's a certain amount of concern in these parts that they'd really love to get back to their best against in-form Liverpool. It's live for you after the break.
Right, we're back in control. United have lost, Blackburn have drawn today. What then of Liverpool at Newcastle United? That's our live game. Let's rejoin Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. It's the first of 3 meetings in 3.5 weeks between Newcastle and Liverpool. Thoughts in both camps might turn to this weekend. Last year, exactly a year ago, Newcastle had gone 7 league games without a win, even worse than they are at the moment. And then they stuck 7 goals past Spurs. It was a last hurrah, as it turned out, for Kevin Keegan. But 24 hours later, John Barnes scored for Liverpool at Southampton, and his former club went 5 points clear at the top of the league. So much has happened since then. But the events of earlier today, particularly at Highfield Road, will encourage the ambition of both these sides, particularly the team in red about to get the game underway with those 2 fast flyers at the sharp end of things, Fowler and Owen. Michael Owen playing against Newcastle for the first time and coming here on the back of a goal in each of Liverpool's last 3 games, all of which have been won. It's a very positive response to losing at home to Manchester United. Farmer challenging Asprilla. David Batty, who is playing his last game before what is now turning into a 4-match suspension. 2 games for 5 yellow cards and 2 more for getting himself sent off on Boxing Day at Derby. Headed by Pistone.
One of the things that Newcastle did well, Mark, against Manchester was hustle them very quickly and early. And that's going to be important for them today. Can't allow Liverpool to settle into a nice passing rhythm. If that happens, they could be chasing the ball for long spells.
Liverpool 3-1 winners at home to Leeds on Boxing Day. They travel straight up here to Newcastle after Friday's match, so it's been quite a long wait in the northeast. They'll be bursting to make an impression. And emphasising that point, chasing back on Batty. Steve McManaman, as usual, has started on the right-hand side of the Liverpool 4, but of course he has the licence to assess the situation as to which flank might be the more profitable for him. Batty. Tom Beresford, who's become a very versatile performer for Kenny Dalglish, and he's needed the versatility in his squad with not being able to settle to what he might regard to be his best team because of a number of injuries and some suspensions as well. Redknapp. McManaman moving into the middle. Tangling with Robley, who's missed 3 games with a calf strain. Pitch is on the soft side. Owen. Now, Dominic Matteo, who was actually spotted for Liverpool by Kenny Dalglish when he was playing in the same boys team as Kenny's son. And a lot of connections, really, even this far on with this Liverpool side to the current manager of Newcastle United. He's having, in pure football terms, Andy, I would suggest as difficult a time as he's had since he's come into management.
I think you'd probably be right there, Martin. I think it is, well, not troubled times, but they're going through a bad spell. They need a result, they need a big result to give them that little shot of confidence, that shot of belief. Couldn't be a better game for Kenny Dalglish to get a result than against Liverpool.
Liverpool have the corner. Off Barton, pressed by Fowler.
We often wonder if Liverpool work on things like this because, as I said before, they're not the biggest side that you'll come up against.
It's a low corner, and it's Leonardson to shoot through the crowd, and Hislop did very well to improvise a save there.
What a save, Martin. I think it come past David Batty. I'm not so sure if that's when he first sees this shot, and if it is, then it's a great save because Batty's only 6 yards from the line. Just coming in front of the goalkeeper now, goes past 2 players. That's a magnificent reaction save from the goalkeeper.
Hislop, who continues to keep out Shea Given, Fowler. And in a different sense, he kept out Owen Leonardson as Liverpool look for an early advantage here.
I know it's only 4 minutes into the match, but you can tell when you're watching a team with confidence, Martin, because they slip into gear immediately, and that's what Liverpool have done.
Owen able to take a couple of extra touches, and that was a very dangerous ball by Fowler. It really needed somebody flying in on it for Liverpool.
Well, that's a goal ball. You put that in training, you don't get anyone in the end of it, you're complaining, you're going bananas. If somebody had put that one in for Robbie Fowler, he would have been on the end of it. That's the type of ball you don't get many of in a game.
Fowler, who's already chalked up half a dozen goals for Liverpool against Newcastle, scored in both of the famous Anfield 7-goal thrillers. Of course, the return of this fixture next month in the Premiership at Anfield. You'll see it live on Sky Sports on a Tuesday night, January the 20th. And before then, the teams convene here again in the Coca-Cola Cup quarter-finals. You'll also see that live on Sky. Beresford. Now McManaman. There's Asprilla doing the chasing. He's in a position to be given the ball. Batty. Gillespie coming in from the right. Liverpool holding a pretty good defensive shape. Batty. Now McManaman. Leonardson. Crisp work from Liverpool. Typical of the way they've started the game. McManaman beginning to roam. The space he's left filled now by McAteer. Hislop deciding that he couldn't go for that, and it was probably a wise decision.
Yeah, it wasn't the best ball from Jason McAteer. They actually worked the space really well again, Liverpool.
just to spell it out for you, Newcastle 6 Premiership games without a win, and they failed to score in 5 of them. So a goal here of any sort would be greatly appreciated by some concerned Geordie fans who have been spreading a bit of gloom and doom, but things can change very quickly in football, as they certainly did exactly a year ago when Kevin Keegan saw his side come out of a slump and put those 7 past Spurs. Not that Kevin hung around for very much longer after that. Little Watson. Well read by Redknapp. Goes out off Leonardson. It's Newcastle's throw. Gerald Ashby is the man making the decisions there. It's a fine ball by Barnes, who'd love to make an impact today. John Beresford, who almost signed for Liverpool, and it was a move that really broke down on medical grounds. He's played a lot of football since then. Pearce. Taken on by Lee, but the whistle's gone.
Great pressure, great example to anyone watching your front two doing a job defensively. Stuart Pearce 30th time. Both Fowler and Owen had other ideas.
Leonardson, not quite the precision in the pass that it promised to be. As Jamie Redknapp really took the fight to Newcastle then. McAteer very nearly scored what would have been a superlative solo goal against Leeds. Sliced through the Leeds defence and then shot over the top. Harkness. On from Barnes. Not to Asprilla, although Barnes now pressing and dispossessing Harkness. Asprilla's got to stay onside. Barnes goes for goal himself. It was a difficult shot to save, but David James got down in the nick of time.
Good save. Good shot. He wins it well, uses his strength, and Asprilla's offside. He knows that. Not once, but twice. And then Kramer just backs off too far. It's a pretty powerfully struck shot. I think David James will be happy to get some work.
McManaman. There's a real early flow to this game. You might feel typical of recent meetings between these two clubs. And John Barnes hunting a goal for the record would be his 200th in club football. Still on 199 thanks to an old teammate, David James, who has just hit a 200 of his own. 200 consecutive starts. A goalkeeper who seemingly has been criticised for a long time, but can't be doing everything wrong. And although Brad Friedel is here, James the man in possession, and he wants to keep it that way. Roy Evans looking for competition.
It wouldn't surprise me, Martin, if his performances start to sharpen up and get better. Competition's never been bad for a footballer. I think particularly for a goalkeeper. Always important that you kept on your toes.
Harkness, Redknapp. Again, the space on the right-hand side, filled by McAteer. Owen and Fowler actually making the same run to the near post. McAteer making his run with the ball. Fans over in that far corner of the ground had a reasonable view of that.
It might have been close to obstruction. I'm not so sure if a penalty, but I think he's past here. Just gets a little nudge. Look at that. I mean, that's obstruction to me. It's not a penalty. But there's no doubt John Beresford, just there he goes. He's straight across Jason McAteer. No attempt to play the ball. That's at least obstruction.
Batty.
So a good zip to the game, opening 10 minutes.
Asprilla leading Matteo. Robley has got into the centre. And James had the biggest problem really was one of his own players, Steve Harkness.
Good hands. We saw Ian Walker fumble one at Villa Park under pressure from his own defender. David James, good clean catch.
Between Barnes and Gillespie. Liverpool giving it away rather easily. But Barnes couldn't angle it back to him. Certainly a bit of accuracy's gone out of the passing. And here's Redknapp. Newcastle have rather worn the air of the side, but fear the worst if they go a goal behind. That happened very early at Derby. To the first penalty, incidentally, that Newcastle have conceded since Kenny Dalglish become manager, and as you'd expect, he protested about it.
He's every right, I feel. Didn't look much of a penalty to me.
And that was Hislop having to dive outwards. Well, David James, as we say, getting some competition now. Brad Friedel behind Roy Evans there, American international. Gillespie. That's great defending by McManaman. Here come Newcastle again. Gillespie. Robley! And James got to it, it's a corner.
It might well have been just arcing away from the far post. The goalkeeper didn't know that. And this is an excellent save. Great spot from Gillespie. Just looks up. Beautifully struck shot. And very well saved. But it just might have been arcing away.
Gillespie to take the corner. Barnes makes the first move, and Liverpool should know all about that. But you have to say, Andy, the first 40 minutes or so here compares very favourably to last Sunday's visit.
I think it's better. I think it's been a brighter opening. The tempo of the game's been higher. And that's the one thing I would say between the Sundays we've been here.
Pistone, he didn't have the time that he wanted. Ince got to him quickly. Newcastle then got to Ince. Barnes nudging it off to Batty.
A lot better defensively Liverpool, Martin, I feel these days, the 4 and 4, because they've got the 4 in front, the 4 midfield players. When they lose it, they don't have to get back in well and protect the back 4. We've seen already Steve McManaman at the back post knocking one away.
And here's Michael Owen having to drop deep to just stop the flow, which was towards the David James goal. Beresford needing a target for his throw. It's a free kick.
I think at times they're still just a tad unsure when to push forward, Newcastle. Warren Barton, for me, when the ball's over in that situation where the free kick's coming from, he should be in at the edge of the box if he's playing as a wing-back. He's got 3 centre-backs that can defend there, and he was just reluctant to go forward.
Barton's back in the centre circle at the moment. But Liverpool have not pushed anyone upfield. They're all back around their own penalty area. To Stephen Watson, who's got a bit of a habit about scoring against Liverpool.
Well, I said they were vulnerable from set pieces. I felt they were, Martin. And the first set piece, it's a bread and butter free kick. It's delivered straight in there. Cavani does nothing but run alongside Steve Watson. Watson makes a run towards the ball, and having got there, he gets a nice challenge header from 6 yards. He ain't going to miss this. Powerfully down and into the corner. It's a great goal for Kenny Dalglish, but a poor one for Liverpool to lose.
Well, they failed to score here against Arsenal. They failed to score here against Derby and against Manchester United. But Newcastle United lead Liverpool. And Steve Watson, who got the winner very late on in this fixture a couple of years ago, has struck early in the piece this time, but it means so much to Newcastle. The emotions here, high or low, always so near the surface for the Newcastle fans. And suddenly they're buzzing, but they're concerned now as the ball breaks with Leonardson. Fowler.
Well done, John Beresford. To be fair, the ball in from Leonardson to Fowler wasn't a good one. Fowler had to check, it was almost behind him. He really wanted it in front of him. Just gave John Beresford that second he needed to get across and clean up.
Redknapp. Barnes. Asprilla chasing, but James will get there first. But I suppose if he wanted an outside bet on the first scorer today, from the Newcastle point of view, Watson might have been the horse for this particular course. He also got the winner at Anfield in a Coca-Cola Cup tie in that same 94-95 season, 95-96 season. Here's Fowler.
Well, that'll have given him a huge lift, Mark. The players on the pitch give you an extra yard and a half. Suddenly Liverpool players who'd been having a little bit of time on the ball are finding a black and white shirt in the face a little bit quicker. That's what goals do to you.
And as we said, Liverpool had everyone back.
Well, just watch this, Mark. They're just ringing the four. That's a four. Pearce scores. They've got Barnes, they've got Asprilla, they've got Watson. Four attacking the ball. That's a free header from 6 yards. Questions will be asked, but he's a happy man.
A goal for the Geordies from a Geordie. Newcastle pressing.
Well, it's hard, it's physically demanding when you do that. Second game in a couple of days for these players, but it's what you've got to do. You've got the goal, it's giving them the boost. They know Liverpool will be patient and continue to pass and probe and try and keep possession of the ball. It's up to Newcastle, players like Robert Lee, David Batty, Keith Gillespie, even the front two if they can, to try and break that play up.
Well, Liverpool got no reward from their lively start. Importance of that save from Leonardson by Hislop, emphasised by what followed after it. So, anxious look for Roy Evans and Liverpool staff. It's not been a profitable fixture this since Newcastle came into the Premiership. Liverpool haven't won at St James's Park, in fact going back to 1987. Gillespie. Steve Harkness, the Liverpool left back these days. Sticking with Björneby has been left out. Look how hard Newcastle are working. And Kabama forced into an error. Beresford. Well read by Matteo. Another dilly-dallying over the pass, and Newcastle are biting in again. Barnes and Gillespie can't quite connect with the cross. Clever play by Asprilla. Asprilla to find Barnes, who got a good position. McManaman reflecting the concern.
It was beautiful skill from Asprilla.
Pearce. Here's Gillespie. Barton ahead of him and in a wider position than Gillespie thought. They've got to be careful, Newcastle at the back. They've got the three in there. With Stuart Pearce, the controlling influence of Watson and Pistone, but there's such a gung-ho mood about the Newcastle team at the moment. Just the risk that Liverpool, with so much pace, and Fowler and Owen might snatch something back with that speed. McManaman. Liverpool all eagerness here in the search for an equaliser, and his has hung on.
I have to say, Martin, again, that's a great ball in, you know. They've got three in there, but no one really went early. Everyone held their position. I think anyone going across the front of the goalkeeper for this, just taking a gamble, taking a chance. Might just well have had a little tap in. Held on to it well, though. His awkward and difficult ball.
Still, they'll tell you in these parts, he's got to win the fans over Shaka Hislop. A lot of the Newcastle faithful are great supporters of Pavel Srnicek, who's nowhere near the team at the moment. Drama. Harkness. Nelson moving to the left. Unfairly by Barton.
Yeah, it's just a little nudge. He's trying to protect the ball. Not an awful lot wrong with that. Does make a meal of it.
It's McAteer's cross. Leonardson can't hook it back. And this in last season, it was Alan Shearer who put Newcastle in front. Robbie Fowler struck the equaliser then. He'd love to do the same now. Shearer, incidentally, I was just checking, managed 14 league games for Newcastle in 1997. Guess the number of goals?
Right.
12. Newcastle very much at the races today.
I think both are, to be fair, Martin. I don't think you could level it. Liverpool weren't at it. Started very, very bright. They had a great 10 minutes. Might well have taken the lead.
In goes Lee. And then Matteo, importantly, to stop Lee linking up with Asprilla. Leonardson. Players forward for Liverpool as McManaman takes Newcastle on. Fowler.
Well, they'll be happy to keep him at that range, Martin. He's got good striking in either foot. There's an awful lot of players between Robbie Fowler and the goal. One touch and hit, but always pressed Stuart Pearce right beside him. And actually has a pretty good. I mean, Liverpool have, due to that good start, slightly dominated them. But it's that little stat at the top left-hand column that concerns most managers.
Gillespie now claiming that came off a Liverpool boot, but if it did, a defined back pass by Harkness.
Yeah, I think it probably did, but I mean, you can no way it could have been deliberate. It was good defending from Harkness. If you're playing a full back and a four, that's the kind of thing you've got to be alive to, coming around on the cover.
What was so encouraging about that action area, Andy, was that there's more play in the thirds at either end of the pitch than in the middle third, which that's always teaches you a high level of entertainment.
Well, he needed a shout. Pistone needed a shout from his goalkeeper or someone just to leave that ball. I think he's just saying didn't get a shout. That's exactly what he needed, just leave it. Because it was just drifting harmlessly to Hislop or for a goal kick. Now they've got to deal with some pressure.
McManaman. McManaman again, and McAteer again. Fowler complaining he was balked. It's a sort of
watch the stood his ground
challenge that you get so often in penalty areas and very rarely get penalties awarded for them. Redknapp, again the industry of Newcastle, forcing Liverpool into a mistake, and Asprilla put through by Lee but not clear by him, and they doubled up well on the Columbia, did Liverpool. But they haven't taken the ball from him, and he's found Gillespie, and now Bart. The ball on there for Barnes. Looked tight for an attempted return pass by Lee, who's chasing McManaman but not getting to him. Fowler, McManaman again. Owen, look at the acceleration, and also from Shaka Hislop.
Look at the bravery as well, Mark, from the young kid. A lot of players might have pulled out of this challenge. Hislop might have thought, oh, this is mine. But he suddenly just switches the afterburners on, and there was no way he was pulling out of that. You're not getting an easy run here, he was saying to the goalkeeper. And brave goalkeeping as well.
Stuart Pearce, who was leave that to Hislop in the first place, hadn't switched off though, and he was first to the ball when it broke loose. McManaman, we do feel there is an equaliser in Liverpool. Leonard's. McManaman slips Batty. McManaman gets another strike at it, and there was a chance for the equaliser.
It was quick, he had to adjust, having just hit one with his left foot. I mean, again, this is what this is all about when he drifts in. And having to adjust very quickly, he sets himself. For somebody of his quality, that's a good chance. Comes back on the volley, not too high, just doesn't get the knee over the ball. Keep it down. You can't always guarantee goals in a game, Mark. You can never sit up and say, oh, there's definitely goals here. But the one thing, you do feel that there are chances all over this match, coming at both ends. It's just a matter of whether the players take them.
Gillespie. Newcastle ending their home goal famine with Steve Watson in the 16th minute, but McManaman has drawn level with a goal of bewildering skill, really.
Well, if you thought his one against Arsenal was special, forget it. This is better. It's better because he has to deal with a really awkward ball from Fowler here. This is high, it's awkward. Now look at the way he just deals with that, and in one moment he's flashed it past Hislop. You put 2 or 3 goalkeepers in there, they ain't going to save this. That's a magnificent response, absolutely magnificent.
Well, those early feelings that Liverpool were worth a goal, but who would have expected a goal of that calibre? Maybe Roy Evans. He's seen Steve McManaman strike in similar vein. He's already on 8 this season, a player who's been rebuked for maybe not being a good enough finisher in the past. A great goal scorer he may not be, a scorer of great goals he certainly is.
I think he's had a brilliant season so far, Mark. I talked about him a lot early season, saying that perhaps he might not be a certainty for Glenn Hoddle's squad because of end product. But I tell you what, his end product so far this season, not only in goals but in creation, has been absolutely first class. And he's an absolute certainty on the kind of form he's shown at the moment, if he can sustain it. Now we've got a game on.
Gillespie. real jolt to Newcastle's system. Absolutely unstoppable, the shot. And the player who was leading the charge to get his team back on level terms has really done it in a grand manner. No longer the stand-in skipper, of course, with Ince back in the team, but playing like a real leader, McManaman.
Well, he's got loads forward in this break as well.
Owen, McAteer. Vital. Steve Watson touched that for Newcastle. There were
Well, if he does it,
Liverpool players fighting for the right to score if it had gone beyond him. And to Owen, back across the face again.
Oh, how close was that? That was bending as soon as he hit it. I'm not saying he was attempting to strike it goal. I think he was just trying to flash it across the goal. Look how many red shirts to get in here. That's a great defensive header from Watson. Absolutely great. And then when this comes back, you watch the way he fizzes this back, Michael Owen. Is he looking to just play it in, or is he going for goal? But it bends, and that's very close.
Twice Steve McManaman put his hands to his head in disappointment. Batty. Well, we haven't had the 4-3s here at St James's Park that Anfield has been privileged to witness, but this has always been pretty eventful. That hat-trick by Andy Cole, you might recall. Newcastle fans had the memories already revived today of Steve Watson's last-minute winner. It's not going to be the winner in this match. Leonardson. Redknapp, McManaman available again. McAteer inside him this time. As he switched to use the space near the touchline, he was sent tumbling. Gerald He's given the free kick.
Well, he felt he was impeded at the other end, Mark, about 30 seconds ago by Steve McManaman. Didn't get it. So I think that both of those incidents have compounded to make him angry. I just wonder what they'll try here. We've talked about they ain't got great height.
Well, there's been some very good quality in the Liverpool crossing. And Stuart Pearce on the stretch to deal with that one.
Well, it asks questions. Any time you put a cross in that has a back four or the back three facing their own goal, having to deal with it, then that ain't bad.
Well, despite going a goal behind, Liverpool really brimming with self-belief. Trying now to get in front. Matteo looking for a curve on the ball at the near post. McAteer. And he's tugging at Gillespie. The referee trying to play the advantage.
Well, I would have taken it back with no advantage been given off. He certainly didn't get any advantage there.
Beresford. Beautiful open field to the football here.
Well, there's nothing sterile or negative on the field at the moment.
Batty. There is the factor of playing twice in a matter of 3 days. It's also, you get such beautiful playing surfaces in the Premiership these days, but this is stickier than the players might be used to. There's a mistake by Pearce. Owen trying to chip the goalkeeper. And now wishing that he'd given himself a bit of thinking time.
He doesn't make many bad decisions, Michael Owen. Stuart Pearce, for all of experience, he does things he shouldn't do. He plays this blind. He has a look then, but then he just assumes that it isn't going to be red. Well, not with someone as sharp as Michael Owen around. Just rushed the chance.
So, charge down the left-hand side by Pistone. Lee. Beresford. Barnes saying, I'll have it to feet. In for Rob Lee. Good play from Newcastle. And Matteo cautious about when to make his tackle. That will be a free kick now, but Matteo was deep in his own penalty area and couldn't afford the mistiming that eventually came from Redknapp.
That's rash, and you don't want to be giving too many free kicks away here. They've got the option now, they have the chance of shooting, but certainly in that kind of area. Or will they try and exploit? Well, I think they have an advantage in there.
And it more favours a right footer, you might feel there.
They've got two lefts on it.
And Robley, who might just be a little bit rusty about the set pieces, having missed 3 games, realising that he should be involved. Needs to get Liverpool thinking. The left footers, Beresford and Pearce, were quickly on the scene. It is Pearce, and it's pretty easy for the wall, although Lee then blocks. Takes it through the legs of McAteer. Ince. Now a chance for Liverpool to use their pace on the break. Although Fowler,
just behind them,
behind Leonardson, took some of the speed out of this potential counter-attack. Newcastle regrouping. Now the crowd calling for them to accelerate. Batty looking for a runner through the middle, but that's not down the slot for Beresford, who at least was trying to give the midfield man the angle. Matteo. Harkness. Owen taking on Barton, and then as the goalkeeper started to come,
I'm not sure what he was trying, Martin. I've got a great line and you and I are right behind this, but having done that bit, I thought he was just going to hit it, open up with his left and hit it. That looks to be a pass to me. That looks to be a little nudge with the outside of the right foot across goal. When having skipped past Warren Barton here and gone on his left side, I thought, go on, put your foot behind it, just use a bit of power. And it looks to me as if he's just trying to feed that. Maybe to Robbie Fowler, who was never going to get there.
That stayed in play, and it was almost a ricochet off Gillespie. Fun and games for James. Cleared by Harkness, good climb by Pearce. Ince. Now McManaman. And that spells trouble for Newcastle. Got 2 men over. Fowler. McAteer still outside of him. Fowler tries to chip. His lot does chip him, but doesn't get the ball to drop.
The alarm bells there, Mark, wasn't there? They've absolutely carved them up. They got all upside. John Beresford was over on this right-hand side. I think he's just spout for options here, Robbie Fowler. McAteer, he could have rolled in. Any of his front men, no pressure whatsoever. Wasn't a great chip from him.
The problem for Kenny Dalglish, he's got experienced players, but he hasn't got a settled way of playing because of circumstances forcing so many changes. At times, they look like a team who haven't really had a rehearsal for this game. Liverpool very much in the groove in that respect, unchanged again. That could be a negative later on, of course, because some of the Newcastle players weren't involved on Boxing Day, certainly not from the start. Barnes is one of those. Lee struck Leonardson. Oh, well, Tino Asprilla bang in front of goal, and he missed the ball.
Well, I can only think that he took his eye off it. He was looking at someone. Certainly the shot from Rob Lee was one of immense power. Leonardson managed to get something in the way. A lot of Newcastle people thought it was a hand.
But Batty. 40 minutes have flown by here at St James's Park.
It's actually the kind of game, Martin, you don't want them to go in at half-time and get the manager spoil it, because it's been so open and attractive. But there's been a lot of good defending. We've talked a lot about the positive things here, about the attacks and the flowing football. I have to say that one or two have defended pretty well.
Well, Steve Watson has gone forward again. Picking up Barnes. Matteo trying to go with Watson. It goes across the face now. And it was always in David James' country. darting to the right-hand side. McManaman calling for the cross. He's got it! He's got a second goal, and Newcastle were carved apart again. Steve McManaman has sorted out Liverpool's difficulties here. They were a goal down. McManaman struck twice.
Well, this is a goal of supreme quality. McManaman written all over it. Everything that's good about Steve McManaman you see in this goal. His ability to go past people, just goes past people and then finds the ball. This is a wonderful run and a brilliant cross. He picked out McManaman, an absolute peach. No Newcastle United player had picked him up though. He just wanders into the middle of the goal. And this is a difficult volley. Skipped up, but he kept it down beautifully.
Well, 3 wins in a row bring confidence, but you can't help thinking that hearing the news in the tunnel that Manchester United had lost at Coventry gave Liverpool even extra impetus to come here and go for the win. Still relatively early days in a game that's been brimming with open football. I think you and I were looking down our noses a bit, Andy, at mentions of the 4-3s because they were at Anfield over the last 2 seasons, but well, is it shaping up towards something like that here at St James's Park today?
There'll be chances, Mark. There'll be more chances. You just feel sure of it. The way that Roy Evans' Liverpool side is set up.
Well, McManaman making Newcastle dance to his tune. Fowler, there's a man over. It's Michael Owen. He didn't get it, but he should have got it.
Did he shout? If he shouted, then Robbie Fowler must surely be giving a little bit of a rollicking from his strike partner. He was wide open. Paul Ince is furious. He's just ran about 20 yards to give Fowler a rocket. I'm not surprised. Look at this. McManaman wants to slide it, give him it. No. Denies the little young lad the opportunity.
A big result, that Manchester United game for Liverpool, and of course for Chelsea. Not in action today, but you'll see their next game, Monday Night Football at Dell, 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 1.
Well, they're absolutely controlling midfield. To be fair, they've done that for most of the match, Mark, Liverpool. The McManaman going infield and Leonardson going infield at times. Well, their passing being so good. They've been pretty dominant in that department.
Well, he couldn't have meant that, Stuart Pearce, and Gerald Ashby, I think, showed good football sense to recognise that fact. A complete slice. And instinctively, Hislop fielded it with his hands. Play on, said the referee. Stoppage time that he will add on at the end of a very fine first half. But for Newcastle, it started so well, it's ending with some of those recent doubts surfacing again. Andy, you're right what you say about Steve McManaman. As an international player, I think he's still got to convince Glenn Hoddle. It's a good idea from Barnes to help it on, maybe even loop it beyond David James into the corner. But the old Liverpool contingent, Liverpool past if you like, on the receiving end to Liverpool present. It's no consolation to Kenny Dalglish that it was in his time that Steve McManaman signed for the Anfield club. But it's the sense of responsibility that McManaman's been showing. It was so evident when he was captain at Arsenal, and he has been absolutely superb here. With plenty of support, it must be said, from his Liverpool colleagues. We're only halfway through, and that must be recognised. Steve Watson gave early impetus to Newcastle United. 3 games here without a goal, but Watson headed in. It was a bad goal from the Liverpool point of view. This was a brilliant goal from their point of view. And there was more to come from the same man, Michael Owen, setting up from McManaman's pass to return it to the goal scorer, and delight for Liverpool. They're 2-1 ahead at the break.
Coming up, darts, the World Pairs Championships, Monday 1 o'clock, Sky Sports 2. And And the second half of this we are very much looking forward to. Newcastle United and Liverpool. Half-time, 2-1 to Liverpool after they took the possession. No surprise perhaps there though. And don't forget the next two games which come up before January the 20th between these two in the Coca-Cola Cup and the League at Anfield, when we're expecting almost another 4-3. They're both live on Sky Sports. We'll have a classified check tonight around about 7:45. We'll also have all the Premiership goals before we go. Barry Venison's watching this with us. Did Liverpool get a lift, do you think, Barry, as a result of news that Manchester United have been beaten today?
Yeah, but they got a kick in the teeth with the first goal though. You know, taking it out. The defending, we talked about them defending from free kicks and corners not very well. They give themselves a little bit of an uphill battle. So, you know, it's bad marking here.
You mentioned it, Andy mentioned it,
yeah.
So obviously Newcastle were aware of it. They're not the best at set pieces when they're defending, are they, Liverpool?
They're not, but Steve Watson's a big, strong lad, and he gets 2 or 3 yards stride away from Kvama, but more worrying was John Beresford, who was completely free behind him as well.
So that was 1-0 Newcastle. So, I mean, it's been a terrific recovery, hasn't it? Inspired by Steve McManaman. Again, it was mentioned in commentary, who didn't perhaps often enough prior to this season have the end product to his game, but it appears he does now.
Oh, he's in top form, and it's interesting it's down the right-hand side, inside right. It's great chest in him. You know, I thought it was just going wide at first. Fantastic goal. Pure ability.
At pace as well, he's moving there, isn't he?
Yeah, he hasn't tried to take the casing off the ball either. He's half-placed that. He hasn't just whacked at it.
Now, they did have a chance, Newcastle United, before Liverpool went in front, when for some reason Asprilla completely missed a header in front of goal.
Yeah.
Tremendous hit this from Lee.
It's a great strike. And somebody gets a block on. Was there a handball in there? Well, I'm not so sure if it was a legal block, but there's a block on anyway. And Asprilla's got his arm up for one reason.
Yeah, he's almost too busy appealing, isn't he?
And he completely misses the header.
And this is why he's appealing, not from behind the goal.
It's a good setup. Bonds, he's used his head, and Rob Lee's done the best he can, and that is a penalty. His arms have come out from his body, he's not protecting his face. That is a penalty, and that's probably what's put Faustino Asprilla off.
But it wasn't given, and then Liverpool were in front. Again, Steve McManaman, the goal scorer, almost a creator as well.
Yeah, it's down this right-hand side again. They're creating a lot down here, but again,
it's a good finish.
It's fantastic. It's so smooth. He's decided where the ball's going to bounce. The pitch isn't bouncing true, and he's judged it perfect. Again, he hasn't whacked. There was one earlier on where he's had a shot with his left foot. It's come back to him, and he's whipped into it, and I think it was too quick. His action was too quick, but that's smooth and that's timing.
Suggestion is there's more goals in this yet. Is there a way back for Newcastle?
Well, they're under pressure now. From a point of view, they've got to come out. They've got to come out and play a little bit more open than they like to, and that paves the way for pace like Owen, Fowler. Does it leave Steve McManaman with loads more space? I mean, he's been superb there for 35 minutes. 2-1
Liverpool at St James's Park. Blackburn, remember, drew today. Chelsea play tomorrow night. The champions, Manchester United, were beaten. So Liverpool will enjoy this if it stays like it is. Second half comes up live next. What a start of the new year for us. FA Cup football next Sunday at 11 we start. Stamford Bridge is the venue. Chelsea and Manchester United. Sky Sports 2 live from the third round of the FA Cup. Right now it's Newcastle and Liverpool. Newcastle 1, Liverpool 2. Steve McManaman with both goals. I know it's Christmas and all that, but that's taking the festive spirit just a bit too far, isn't it? This is the goal that separates the two teams right now. McManaman got the first. He also, Barry Venison, got the second like this.
Yeah, I think the problem's created because Steve McManaman's run directly at the back four. And Pistoni's got a problem because he's been exposed. Michael Owen makes a great run. You just see him going across out the picture there. The problem is he's not getting any cover in front of him, no help from John Beresford in front of him. So as somebody's run directly at the two centre-halves, he's naturally got to come and tuck in, and that leaves a lot of space, but a very intelligent run.
If Liverpool are to win this from this position, how do they go about it?
Well, the way not to do it is for Liverpool to go and try and defend for 45 minutes, because that's not their strength. They need to go out, you know, not hell for leather, but they need to go out and play the game that they played there for 35 minutes, knock it around, keep the ball, but with a purpose. They can't sit back, they'll be asking for trouble. Especially with that crowd, the crowd will get behind Newcastle the second half.
Just wonder if we're about to see some changes. Let's go back and get all the news. Andy Gray and Martin Tyler, St James.
Thanks, Richard. Des Hamilton limbering up in the tunnel to be a second half substitute for Newcastle. We think for Warren Barton. Well, Andy, I think the question really everyone's been asking at half-time, how good are Liverpool and how bad are Newcastle?
Well, that's a difficult one. I actually think that Liverpool, you have to make teams look bad, Martin. And you're not a bad side the way they've played today. I've been very, very impressed with this Liverpool performance. I have to say, I think it's been first class. There's a lot of good players in black and white. They have their problems, but there's a lot of quality out there in black and white shirts, a lot of internationals. And I think that it's not easy to make them look bad, but they've carved them open time after time. And I think that we have to hold your hands up and say this has been a pretty special 45 minutes that we've seen from Liverpool.
Well, Kenny Dalglish won't be short of advice in these bouts. If the slump continues, they'll be returning those famous phone calls from that television advertisement. It's Newcastle to start the second half.
Well, I wondered when the change, Martin, came about. I'm thinking it's an injury at the moment. Whether they change it tactically, whether they change systems. It doesn't look like they're going to do that initially.
Here's Robley with an early raid for Newcastle in the second half. He was in behind McManaman.
Well, that would have been
a little bit wide.
If you'd imagine he'd gone down. Just wondered as McManaman comes in behind him here, if he'd have caught his legs, which he almost did, had he gone down. Maybe he's just been too honest, Robley.
James and doesn't deal with it. Michael Owen was quick to see where the ball dropped. Pistone.
One of the biggest differences, Mark, for me in the first half was in the speed of attack, or the tempo was in the team's attacks when they get the ball. Liverpool, when they won possession, were very, very quick with their passing and their movement going forward. Whereas I think Newcastle were a little bit more pedestrian. I think they've got to up that part of their game.
Well, they're trying to do that now, and it's McManaman who breaks it up against Beresford. In comes Lee. Owen gets the better of Pearce and made it look very easy indeed, trying to cut it back for Fowler. The 18-year-old who's absolutely electric.
Well, he's going to give Glenn Hoddle a nice headache if he carries on like this, Martin. You know, it's whether he takes it with France or not.
Redknapp. Fowler, flag up against Glenn Arnson. Probably worth another look.
It's a great idea, though. He's right in line, and the ball's pretty close. I'd be surprised if he got this wrong, the linesman. No, I think he's just about right.
You mentioned Glenn Hoddle and Michael Owen. A chance maybe just to put the record straight that some general comments about young players attributed to the England head coach seem to be stuck to one of them, Owen. And for some amount of misunderstanding, Michael Owen is level-headed a lad as you'd get as a Premiership superstar as a teenager.
I think Roy wouldn't want to make any changes, Roy Evans, Mark, in this half, but they have just played this 11 that are out here in red shirts. They did play against Leeds a couple of days ago. He'll have to keep his eye on tiredness.
Asprilla! After Barnes had headed on, Asprilla couldn't head in. There wasn't too much pace on the ball, and he had to try and impart some of his own, but he couldn't do that.
No, he needed to put a bit more pace in this. I think that's a good chance. He's only 7 yards out. It's a lovely little touch from John Barnes. Again, they get a little exposed with something coming across the face of them. But that's too comfortable a save to give the goalkeeper from 7 yards.
Well, he has had a long spell out of the team with injury, but he's not actually scored in the league, Tino Asprilla, since the opening day of the season, early in August. 2 here against Sheffield Wednesday. Beresford took that very well. Now Asprilla coming to life. And Redknapp stretched at Asprilla, who fell into the penalty area. As Newcastle wonder whether they should have had something then from Gerald Ashby. Liverpool concentrating on counter-attacking.
I think he's a lucky boy, Jamie Redknapp. I thought he got a little touch on him. He just upset him and he goes down late. And he just disturbs his balance more than anything. Not an awful lot.
The area, the
that was outside, yes.
4 minutes of the second half, very much along the same lines as the splendid first half.
What they might have done, Newcastle, Martin, is shove John Barnes up top a bit more, play up front with Asprilla. I don't think there's any reason for John to drop too deep at the moment. Got enough in there in that central area. So it's more important that I think he stays up and supports Asprilla. It gives him something to worry about, something different that they haven't had so far.
After the achievements of the likes of John Barnes and Kenny Dalglish, Terry McDermott here and Ian Rush, that these Liverpool players are trying to emulate, and they're giving more work for Shaka Hislop. Leonardson's shot.
That again, a great example of how quickly they turn defending into attack. There's two passes there and Leonardson's having a shot and making the goalkeeper work. It's a difficult angle. It would have been something special to score from there, but he made Shaka Hislop work and he's earned the corner.
But as he shot, he was challenged heavily by Hamilton, I think it was. In very good form, Shaka Hislop, and that's why Shogiran is still on the bench.
Yeah, he's got a good position. Had most of that goal covered.
And Nanson's had to go off for further attention. Liverpool had the corner. Antio going towards the near post. McManaman, who thought once he'd got a hat-trick in the Premiership, and then the goals panel, I think you might have been a member of it.
I was a member of it. I stand.
You took one away from him against Sheffield Wednesday, and it went down as a Des Walker own goal, so he's looking for his first official threesome.
Well, he's got to work in his head in, Martin. That's a poor example.
Well, you're the man to teach him, but Liverpool have got to work on the defending. They've given the ball away cheaply here. Gillespie has found an avenue. He must score, and it's off the line by the Norwegian Kwame.
Well, they've dominated so much and then they almost commit football suicide. But what great defending from Kwame. He might have been guilty of letting Watson get a free header for the goal. But when David James needed a friendly face as he turned over his shoulder, there was one there.
Pearce coming in. Batty. Keith Gillespie, whose only Premiership goal last season came against Liverpool in that 4-3 at Anfield. He's been more successful as a scorer this season, and that would have been number 5 and should have been number 5, and now Newcastle needed it to be his 5th of the season to make it 2-2 here. But Liverpool still lead. Leonardson is back with us. After a rather heavy touch by Hamilton, and it's another Liverpool corner, and again end to end is the expression that comes to mind. This is Harkness.
Yeah, they don't get many goals from that type of cross, I have to say. He's played in blind like that. But Gillespie for me did everything right, Martin. He ran at players and he committed players, and it opened up for him. The unfortunate thing for Keith Gillespie is that Kwame wasn't prepared to accept that it was all over. And that's a superb stop. Earned his corner there.
Kwame's header, Batty. Just a bit of bend on that, but almost took it beyond Harkness where Gillespie was hoping. Good challenge by Hamilton. Barnes trying to slip it through to Asprilla. It's a hamstring strain for Warren Barton, not the first of his season, which is why Hamilton is on for the second half. Adjudged to have brought down Dean Sturridge to concede that first penalty that Newcastle have given away since Kenny Dalglish has been their manager, and it was enough to cost them defeat at Derby on Boxing Day. They're losing again here at home to a very buoyant Liverpool, but they're certainly not out of range. Gillespie.
Well, he knew what he wanted. He wanted John Barnes to make a little run. But I think John Barnes was looking just to be the wall in a little 1-2.
Fowler. Wonder whether there are one or two signs of Liverpool feeling the fact that they put out an identical lineup in 2 games in quick succession.
I'd be surprised if that was a factor already at this moment in less than an hour gone, Martin.
McManaman is certainly full of running still. Inviting Fowler to have the shot, but he never got his body position right, and it's always a likelihood he would slice that one away. You have to say, Andy Roy Evans has kept his players very much within reach by coming up here to Newcastle on Boxing Day evening.
I think most teams did that, Martin. I was talking to Brian Little after the game that we did at Aston Villa, and they were going straight to Leeds, into the bus and straight up to Leeds. I think most teams would have done that had been playing away. In fact, a lot of home teams might have done it as well.
Barnes. Asprilla, the judge to have made his move just too soon.
Situations like that, Martin, where they're just lacking a bit. I mean, Asprilla's the only option. It's touch and go. Perhaps he's just lent ahead of McAteer, but they've only got the one option, and Barnes drops in there.
Do you subscribe to the view that get Alan Shearer back and all will be sweetness and light again for Newcastle?
No, I'm afraid I don't, Martin. I think there's a lot more work to be done with this side. I think they need to find a team. I don't know, Kenny shuffled the pack an awful lot. He's had to through injury, and we need to wait until he gets his strongest side back, both in defence and midfield.
Came off Farmer, I think. It was anticipated by Barnes. Behind him, here's Beresford. Newcastle looking dangerous. Barnes can move it on for Batty. Forced through, rather fortunately for Gillespie. Lovely change of direction from him. Batty. Farmer was straining to get to that, but get to it he did, and so too did a boot belonging to McManaman.
Well, any more height in the Batty cross, and Asprilla and Beresford were completely open beyond Kavarma.
Whatever Kenny Dalglish said at half-time has produced a spirited start to the second half.
It's been a pretty good response, Martin. And Liverpool just at times look a little ragged when they're defending. Paul Ince has just set himself in front of the back four. They're having to do a lot more defending this half. And that's what we mean, look at that.
Pierce.
They were dominated in that area first half, they're now dominating.
Hamilton. Back with Pierce again. More deliberate play, as you pointed out. The Newcastle way through midfield. Liverpool given a chance to regroup. They put so much running into that first half. Liverpool attacking with 6, sometimes 7 players if you put McAteer alongside the 4 midfield men and the 2 up front. Maybe they're just paying a bit of a price for that at the moment. Very deep. Fowler was the furthest forward, and you saw where he got the ball. Maynardson now more adventurous on the left-hand side. Liverpool, even before today's results, knowing that really the onus was on them to emulate on this Sunday what Manchester United did last Sunday. And Manchester United got their 3 points here without ever really being at their best. I think Ferguson the first to admit that they've been somewhat fortunate. Couldn't level that at Liverpool in the first half. Absolutely scintillating for spells, but they're finding it difficult at this stage in the second half as Batty gets it through, and Gillespie will take some catching here. Keith Gillespie! It stays Newcastle 2-1 down.
Well, you won't get many better chances than this. Kavarma's the last defender. He plays Gillespie onside. He had so much time, Keith Gillespie, to have a look, set himself and strike. And he just pulls it. It's only fractionally off, but the fractions in this game mean so much. Matteo gets back. He makes him hit it a little bit earlier than he probably would have liked. But he's got to hit the target. He's got to make the goalkeeper work. He knows that.
delighted to be able to tell you you've got 2 more helpings of this in January. Newcastle and Liverpool, one here at St James's Park in the League Cup quarter-final, and then at Anfield, the return in the Premiership. The dates for your diary, the 7th and the 20th of January. Here's Robbie Fowler. Well, it beat the goalkeeper. It also beat Leonardson's attempts to catch up with the play coming in on the opposite side to Fowler.
They were just asking questions about a corner. I'm not so sure. I think it took a little touch off Stuart Pearce. I think that's what it is. We might just see it from here as he goes across to close him down. Strikes the ball, just takes a little nudge off him, not much. He could easily end up the bottom corner. But that's what they've got to be careful about, Newcastle, Martin. They know they've got to push forward, but with these 2 up front and McManaman as well, his running ability, they're always likely to open up an opportunity for themselves.
Liverpool not getting so much of the ball in midfield, but attack might be the best form of defending this 2-1 lead. They do have the firepower, and Newcastle certainly haven't been showing that they've got that, but at least Kenny Dalglish in this game and the Manchester United match can point to opportunities being created.
Well, they had that spell just after the goal, Martin. Newcastle, remember, when they really pressed Liverpool all over the pitch, made life difficult for them for 10-15 minutes. It's much the same at the moment. Oh, that's a free kick. Oh, he's given a throw. Oh, well. It's much the same at the moment. The pressing's been good. They've really hurried Liverpool along.
Batty. And Lee drew Redknapp in, or maybe the pass from Batty drew Redknapp in.
Well, I wondered if we're going to get a game without a booking. I think this might be the first.
I think that was a deliberate ploy by Redknapp to impede Lee, tricked him. And Gerald Ashby decides it's a yellow card.
No, they need a good ball. They know they've got a chance if they put one in there.
Well, Watson, with 1 goal under his belt already in similar circumstances. But the ball wasn't good enough. Pearce was alert behind him. Gillespie, Barnes and Asprilla hoping again. Been several situations like that where players just behind the key defender have been in the clear, but that defender has done the job. And look at Owen. This goes down a gear or 2 then. Keep the ball for Liverpool. McManaman. Watson just holding him up. Typical swashbuckling dive from Stuart Pearce.
What gear was he in on there, Martin, do you think? I think you're talking about gears I don't recognise.
Oh, I bought my children bikes with 15 gears apiece, and I think Michael Owen's got twice as many as those. Headed on by Barnes. You talk about on the frame for France. He's got to be a contender, hasn't he? Michael Owen now showing that he can score goals at under 21 level.
Well, it'll depend, Martin. It'll depend on what happens the rest of the season for Liverpool. There's a young boy. Mentally, it can take an awful lot out of you. Your first big season. It'll just depend how he is, I think, come May.
Well, McManaman was free, and Harkness didn't look up. He's still free, but not such a good position. Back to McManaman. That's McAteer, just too high for Fowler. Leonardson, good positioning by the goalkeeper, who had to be concerned whether Fowler might have made the header in the first place. Batty. Asprilla can't control it. Barnes was disappointed with that because he had taken up a good position in an inside left channel. Start, but Decision is a goal kick.
Really pushing John Beresford on, Martin. Stoney's really having to deal with this left-hand side. He's playing sort of left centre-back to the outside, and they're really pushing John Beresford forward in this near side to try and get him involved in advanced areas. The way that Keith Gillespie has been able to get involved in the second half in advanced areas.
Gillespie against Harkness and Leonardson. Hamilton.
It's been a good outlet, Gillespie, this second half. Opening 20 minutes, they've been able to find him in that attacking third. When he gets surrounded by red shirts, they know he's a threat, they know he's a danger. He's never threatened.
Well, the points certainly not in the bag for Liverpool yet. Batty. Asprilla can look languid at times when he is fully fit, but you just sense, and we've seen him a couple of times now, that he hasn't got his full sharpness back after that long layoff. Ince waiting for McAteer, doesn't fail him. We've got 4 in the middle, Liverpool. And Hislop deals with a cross that was probably in the air a bit too long for those in red.
Now, can they break quickly? That's the question now. Can they break quickly when Liverpool have got 4 trying to get back in to defend?
That was a bit of a quicker delivery from Batty, but Beresford didn't make much of it. And here's Fowler. McManaman, who scored 2 quite glorious goals to turn a 1-0 deficit into a 2-1 lead for Liverpool. McAteer. Now Redknapp. Mattia. 4 times Liverpool have been here in the Premiership. Twice they've lost, twice they've drawn, and Roy Evans would be very disappointed if the 3-point tally is taken from him.
There's nothing wrong with their confidence, Mark. They played the ball about, ran about the centre circle there, a lot of short little passes and movement, risking losing it in a really dangerous area. But they were confident enough in their own ability.
Mattia with the free kick. Too high for Fowler. And it's Barnes to show that he's got power in his running, and he's proved that point against Harkness. Gillespie's in the centre. Asprilla is there as well. Still Barnes, who worked the position very well. Didn't want to just toss it in straight away, a percentage ball. And the outcome is a corner.
And it had to be precise, so Martin, look at it, he's got 2 options, an awful lot of red shirts in there. And only really Gillespie and Asprilla had managed to get forward.
Well, is the set play going to be an Achilles heel for Liverpool again as they defend this corner? And James, free kick will be given. Stuart Pearce trying to take David James' leg for a souvenir. Leonardson. Just a couple of times confidence has been a bit misplaced at the back. The pass has been misplaced for Liverpool. Great control from Fowler, and having done the seemingly almost impossible, and then fell when he'd have backed him to stay on his feet. Pistone. Just past the 3-quarter mark in a marvellously entertaining match. And Gillespie will catch this. He can't do anything with it.
Lovely ball down the side for Gillespie. Always got a bit of cramp. Watson just slides it down. That's a super ball down to the way. He makes a great run. Just couldn't quite wrap his foot around it.
That's what you do. Turn the toes up. But that calf unknots itself. Kenny Dalglish will certainly want Keith Gillespie, who's given Liverpool plenty of problems, to be able to continue. Batting. Watson. Understandably looking into Gillespie's area, but nowhere near finding him that time. Now Gillespie gets the ball from Watson to his feet. Beresford coming on the scene quickly. McManaman had tracked him. Gerald Ashby didn't see anything wrong with that. It was another example of McManaman being prepared to run towards his own goal, as well as we all know he can to the opposition's. John Beresford made the extra man there.
Well, he thought he was in, but I think McManaman got in front of John Beresford there and just did enough. That was a pretty good decision.
Here's McManaman, where Liverpool would like to see him more. Not been able to be as cavalier in the second half as they were during the first period. There's always the chance, though, of Michael Owen darting in. Not that time.
I think full marks to Newcastle, Martin. You certainly couldn't fault the amount of energy and effort they're putting into this game. And but for one great goal line stop from Kawama, they might well be sharing this match rather than trailing in it.
This is Pistone. Pistone with another chance to measure the ball in, but Fowler has been there when Liverpool have needed him. McManaman feeds it to the feet of Owen. Leonardson. Nice dummy by Fowler, and McManaman, he's got a lot to take on. And he waits for Fowler, tries to feed it through, gets a handball.
Stuart Pearce doesn't think it. He looks just to lift this through. I think that's probably a handball. It looked pretty much as if it came up onto the arm. He's used the arm. Whether he's a bit close, he's saying I couldn't get out of the way. And he looked just to lean into it, just a touch.
Well, is this going to be a really pivotal moment in the match?
Well, they've got a couple there that'll fancy, haven't they? Left and right footer.
Left foot Fowler, right foot Redknapp. After Newcastle. It's Fowler! No wonder he puffs out his cheeks, because that was very close.
That's the old reverse one, Mark. When they try and kid the keeper, it's going to the left of the screen. You see Hislop made his move. And almost stepped, almost conned him. Almost won the battle of wits. Very well executed, just doesn't come down. Another 6 inches, it might have been the underside of the bar, and then
another 6 inches, and Robbie Fowler could have given Liverpool the comfort of a 2-goal lead. Pistone, Batty, now Lee for Watson. Hamilton just vacating the space there, maybe encouraging Watson to run into it, but he played the pass instead. Beresford. Barnes, well, if you wanted it to drop for anyone on the left foot in those sort of circumstances, John Barnes would be pretty high on the list.
Yeah, it's probably one of those, Martin, if you're top of the table and really going well as a team, that you put your foot through this and it ends up the top corner, like Steve McManaman's. But he strikes it well enough, sets himself well enough. Just not quite get the accuracy of Steve McManaman at the moment.
On from Barnes. Now Asprilla finding a little bit of extra zip then to trouble Dominic Matteo. He has to concede a corner.
That's as we always say, football at this level, a 1-goal lead is never secure.
And yet again today, Andy, we've seen how things change late on.
Last 15 minutes.
Premiership.
You look at many goals are scored in that.
Pistone. Here is David Batty. Another hopeful one. Again from Lee, just to keep Liverpool on the back foot. Lee's shot was certainly worth a crack, and the danger was quickly recognised by Redknapp and made sure the shot didn't get more than a couple of feet. On the subject of late goals, if you missed the news from earlier today, Manchester United were 2-1 up at Coventry in the closing stages and were beaten 3-2. Liverpool are 2-1 up here. Yeah. But Newcastle are pressing them back. Watson's cross, met by Matteo. Batty. Beresford, joint leading scorer at Newcastle United.
This is good pressure. This is fascinating now. This is a contest. We know Liverpool can play. We know they can pass it. Questions have been answered in the last 15. Can they dig in a result when they're under pressure?
Asprilla, or did he take it away from Stuart Pearce? Maybe he did.
Might well have done. Not so sure. Looked like Stuart Pearce was pulling the trigger on that famous left foot of his.
Well, your vote for man of the match. Maybe at this stage the man of the match. 0891111101, but it's not over yet. And these fixtures have a habit of producing heroes at very late stages. Not just those 4-3s at Anfield. Newcastle won it very late here 2 years ago, and here's the man who did it, Steve Watson. Gillespie. It's an equaliser that's in their minds at the moment, and it's a break at pace that's uppermost now for Liverpool. But it's harder for them to do it in the second half. They haven't been as dominant.
I think they would take a little bit of possession right now, Martin, just to stop this black and white tide. It's on a roll at the moment. It was a pity Gillespie in that last situation when he got the ball right. Newcastle had more players in the 18-yard box than at any time in the match. For one of the few times, Gillespie just couldn't get the cross in.
Watson. Asprilla, here's Barnes. It's not exactly a siege, but it's stronger pressure from Newcastle United. Asprilla! He hasn't headed the ball very well throughout the game, but that's probably his best effort.
And the most difficult header. It's further out, and it's high, he's got to climb and put power in that from something like 13 yards. That was a better attempt.
I'm sure you're all fascinated by what's going to happen in the final 13 minutes or so here, but that's not the end of the entertainment for you in this programme on Sky Sports. All the days of Premiership goals to come after we finish at St James's Park. Not to mention Monday night football from the Dell, and what Chelsea are going to make of a chance to close the gap on Manchester United. This is Pistone. Lee. Watson. Gillespie back to Barnes. He in turn to the second half substitute Hamilton. Pistone. Beresford with a flick, and it was one that's made McAteer turn with maybe a frown on his face. He had to be quick to reposition, and Newcastle get his throw. Lee. Oh, my goodness.
Well, a superlative shot. It looked from our angle as though Rob Lee had hit the perfect drive to equalise, but David James had other ideas.
Well, this is as good a save as you're likely to see. It comes over players, he sees it late. It's got great height. Wonderful touch. Wonderful save.
It's a corner, it's Beresford. And it's another Asprilla header.
Well, he should score. It's as simple as that, Mark. He's every right to be disappointed.
He's every right to be disappointed.
He don't get many better chances than this. It's, what, 6 yards, 7 yards? It's a free header. All right, maybe he shouldn't score. I'll take that back. He should hit the target and ask a question or two. He shouldn't be missing it. It's a set piece again. It's that little, I just think it's a little bit of vulnerability they show. And no surprise to see an attacker been taken off, Martin. And, well, he's trying to block the midfield.
Well, it's a we hold move from Roy Evans, because Jamie Carragher, who filled in so well as a defensive central midfield man when Paul Ince was out of the team, that 3-game ban, and then another couple of games missed through injury. So Carragher comes on, and they're trying to build a brick wall, a red wall, across that midfield where Newcastle are having so much possession.
That's a compliment to Newcastle, I have to say. You've got to take your hats off to the home side in this second half. They really should be on level terms now. You have to say that.
Well, they know their football in these parts, and they'll take a bad result or two if Newcastle put body and soul into it and play with some attacking verve, and they've done that today, and they did that against Manchester United. But they were on the wrong end of one result, and they're on the wrong end of this scoreline. But it could be a very telling 10 minutes.
Well, if Liverpool have got aspirations of lifting the championship, Mark, it might be the most important 10 minutes that they play this season. The difference between holding on and winning this match and not.
Another tired touch from McAteer. Carragher just happy to get it forward. Toonami here really sets an opportunity for their team. Hamilton. Gillespie. Batty. Lee. Hit that hammer drive at David James's goal a moment or two ago. Pistone with the cross. It comes for Gillespie. Now Lee. And now Watson. And Farmer just in front of Asprilla, who was unattended in the centre again.
Well, it is a siege, Mark. You said it isn't quite a siege 5 minutes ago. It is now. Liverpool know this is a massive, massive 10 minutes.
Barnes. Well, there was no connection from the Colombian. Liverpool are hanging on by the proverbial thread at the moment. Roy Evans with more than a passing eye on the clock.
Great skill from Barnes. He knew McManaman was missing it. There was no attempt for him to head it. Oh, how close is that? Trying to feed Asprilla. Wonder if he fancied a shot, John.
Barnes, of course, in the last Liverpool team to win the championship. And the last manager to guide them to the championship is the manager trying to inspire the opposition to Liverpool's hopes today.
Well, they might knock it short, but I would suggest get your big boys in there, put a decent ball in, let them go and test them.
Beresford tries to do just that. Lee has another crack, really into the crowd this time, and trying to tease it in. Away by Redknapp. Back it comes from Beresford again. That's not the worst ball, because Barnes gets to it. Liverpool are straining to defend again. Can't get any controlled possession. But they are leading, and there are 7 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Barnes.
Well played, son. Cool head.
The son was Matteo.
Oh, sorry.
Watson. Asprilla went for the ball to feet. Watson deciding to stretch the play, and he's done that magnificently. Beresford. Lee. Matteo making sure it doesn't get to Asprilla. Barnes. Beresford.
back off a Liverpool body. Little post-mortem between Barnes and Beresford.
They were screaming for penalty, man. I don't think it was. It's a stumble from John Beresford. Gets a little tug there, but he's stumbling. And it's a good block from Paul Ince. There they get the lunge. Could have gone anywhere that off of one of the Liverpool players.
Oh, Batty really fired that at Barnes.
And they just can't get out, man. I'm looking at the bench and Luke Livermore and Roy Evans are out there saying, get up, push up, push up. As soon as they try to get out, they're immediately on the back foot, backing away towards 18-yard line again.
Well, we talked about the value of Liverpool getting in front in the first half, reward for their play. It wouldn't be against the balance of the second half if Newcastle equalised. Lee, who's threatened to do just that. It's Asprilla. Now Beresford, that's going wide.
No, didn't quite hit it. But again, they're just camped, edge of the box. Work it well. Didn't quite hit the shot the way he would have liked.
Much easier, far less congested.
0891 1111 01. Your vote, please, for a match that's been hugely enjoyable from the neutral perspective. And Liverpool at least get the chance to get some air into their lungs and get the ball at their feet. In Newcastle territory, they've got a free kick. McManaman. That's the sort of thing they weren't doing in the first half, and it's really credit to the collective effort from Newcastle. As we've mentioned once or twice, a certain amount of fatigue from the efforts of the side that started unchanged from that which beat Leeds 2 days ago.
Yeah, they're only about 3.5 minutes away from a very profitable few days. Leeds and Newcastle could easily have dropped points, man. If they were to come out with 6 out of 6, that would be a very good Christmas for Roy Evans and his side. There's a bit of work to do yet. Newcastle certainly haven't taken this as all over.
Yes, their supporters must have feared for them in the second half, Newcastle, the way the first half went for long periods. But it's been a stirring response from the home side, as you'd expect from a side managed by Kenny Dalglish against Liverpool. But the bottom line for Newcastle is, unless they get a goal, they're going to be empty-handed again. Lee. Back go Liverpool en masse. Pistone. As well to force the corner off McAteer.
1 or 2 tired legs out there wearing red at the moment, Martin. Now they need a cross. Width of the goal. Can you put one there and attack it?
And what they've done is the very worst thing. They put it straight at James.
Well, it'll be coming straight back, Martin, because of the new rule. He's got to get rid of it quickly, David James. He just couldn't get out. I can't. It'll be coming straight back now.
And a few more seconds have passed. And it's now 2 minutes plus stoppage time. Ball boy for Newcastle is the manager. And it's a good catch from him. Can his team catch Liverpool right in these last moments here? Lee is possessing McManaman. Beresford. Goes Asprilla again. Behind him Leonardson. Lee, and as the ball bounced up, that much harder to keep the shot down.
He was always under pressure as well.
He's made a good comeback. Calf strain, you always worry about that when you play again. And well, one or two leaving early, but they've certainly not given up on the team showing in this second half. But another defeat will only increase the black look about the statistics of the team in black and white stripes. Remember, a year ago they also went 7 matches without a win at this time of the year and ended up second in the table. And it will be 7 without a win in the Premiership. Well, to get a win, of course, they've now got to get 2.
I think it's fair to say they might not win this. They might get something from it, Martin, which might feel like a win. They ping something this late on, I'm sure it would do.
And it would feel like a defeat for Liverpool, who set up so much of their stall in the first half to come here and win the game. Gillespie, that's Matteo blocking. With 90 minutes up. Corner for Newcastle United, who've suffered late on at Anfield to Newcastle goals, trying to give Liverpool a taste of their own medicine.
Well, I think if it happened, no one could argue, could they? What Newcastle suffered there the last 2 seasons.
Here's Beresford's corner, but maybe appropriately McManaman heads away.
The referees had a good look at his watch a couple of times.
Came off Kramer as Pearce headed it across. Lee hacked away by Carragher. That was fortunate. It went to Michael Owen, and he can buy his side some time here. And he's running into some traffic, and the whistle goes not for a free kick but to end the game. And it is 4 wins in a row for Liverpool. Steve McManaman's splendid first half efforts. After they got a goal down, they settled it Liverpool's way. It didn't look good when Steve Watson headed in for Roy Evans and his men, but McManaman produced 2 absolute beauties. His run and pass to feed Michael Owen, and McManaman kept going to crack in the winner. Newcastle go into a new year with major concerns for all their efforts. Kenny Dalglish's side, 7 Premiership matches without a win, just 2 points from those games. And so there might be something in the performance to encourage, nothing in the result to lift a grim mood amongst the Geordies. Liverpool can really look forward to 1998 to continue their chase of Manchester United. And don't forget, they're back here in the League Cup in 11 days' time. And the Cup's now the only source of glory, it seems, for Newcastle this season. Remember, all today's Premiership goals coming up. We've finished at St James's Park. Newcastle 1, Liverpool 2.
But we are far from finished yet. We're here until 8 o'clock. All the Premiership goals coming up and a full classified check of all the day's football. Reminder that there's live American football later at 9 o'clock. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers goals still to come. 3 at St James's Park. Liverpool won it 2-1. Although Newcastle had a rare old go at pulling something back in the second half there. We didn't get through without a booking. Jamie Redknapp's name went into the book. First half, Liverpool had dominated, and they had done the possession as well, so that's a fair swing at the end of 92 minutes. Ball in play vote, and here he is with George Gavin.
Steve, great result, but did you have to hang on in the second half?
Yeah, I think whole credit to Newcastle, we really did come back at us. Keith Gillespie was excellent in the second half, caused us lots of problems. I think we rolled our luck a bit because they did have a few chances, but whole credit for us. You know, sometimes we drew games like that, but the lads battled hard again, and we got the right result in the end. It was very important for us.
2 wonderful goals. Were they both team goals as well?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, as I said, you know, Robbie and Michael got them on Friday. I got them today. It's good that we, you know, we're getting goals all over the place, really.
Oh, Man U now a bit more within sight.
Yeah, it was difficult really because we didn't really know the scores because we were concentrating on the game. You know, we were getting ready as the scores came in. So you know, our mind was just firmly on winning today. You know, we've won the last 3 games, and it was important that we won again today.
Well done, Steve. Man the match again. Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you.